All right, we are live. I do want to welcome back Dylan Shafer again. This is episode number 19, actually part 2 of the NCAA Tournament special. Uh, I don't even
Man,
know what
thanks
to say.
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you can come back. I don't know what to say about this past weekend. It was a complete mess in terms of upsets, but hey, that's what March is. I wanted to ask
Yeah.
first, before we start, what is your biggest disappointment and your biggest surprise of the weekend?
Well, biggest surprise is going to be the Pac-12. They got like 4 teams in the Sweet 16, and nobody was on the Pac-12. Not even me. But
No.
they're fun to watch. They're long and they run the court real. They run the court really well. All those teams do, and they've been fun to watch. We should probably give them more respect going forward.
Yeah, I think that Colorado was the only Pac-12 team that was in the field because I think up until the Florida State game, they were undefeated at the time. The Pac-12 was. So I would have to say for me, the biggest surprise. I mean, I would have to say either Loyola Chicago. That was a big one. I would
Well,
man,
that
the
was going to
one.
be my biggest disappointment was Illinois because they looked so good in the Big Ten championship game, and I just thought they were going to bully their way to the Final Four. They might not have won it all, but they were an older team, bigger team. I thought they were going to do good, but March is
Yeah,
here.
I mean, but probably my biggest one probably War Roberts. I
Yes,
think
yeah,
I,
same.
I think that as a 15 seed, I think they were. I had to look up the total record of what they were in the past. I think they were the first ones since Florida Gulf Coast did it a few years ago to win 2 games to advance to the second weekend. So, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go over the games for this weekend and the Elite Eight games. Well, first we'll start off with Gonzaga and Creighton, the 1 and 5 seed.
Uh, Creighton looked good in the second game. I wasn't high on Creighton last time we talked. I thought that because they got beaten the Big East championship game by Georgetown, and I wasn't big on them at all. But they hit a lot of shots there in that second round matchup to get to the Sweet 16. I think if they are hot, I think they can hang with Gonzaga. I don't know that they win, but they shoot it they shoot it pretty good. So if you can score points, you can hang with Gonzaga. But then on the flip side of things, Drew Timmy and the boys were looking nice.
Man, I really think that this game, I got Gonzaga moving on. Of course, I have Gonzaga win it all because if Gonzaga gets knocked out, my bracket is completely 110% done.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a close game, though.
That would be a hard upset on Vegas too. If Gonzaga gets beat, Vegas is going to be hurt.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I,
So
Gonzaga's going at least to the championship game. I feel like.
well, let's hope so for my sake because
Yeah.
if not, I have Gonzaga winning a close one. I think it's a lot
And they
closer
just
than what people think.
they're so good on offense. They're so efficient.
Yeah,
They can run it fast pace. They can slow it down and make it a possessions game. They have great big men, and Gonzaga's hard to beat.
I agree. Well, let's move on. So this is the same West. We'll go with USC and Oregon. So we got a Pac-12 matchup.
Yeah, this was a huge surprise. The 6-7 matchup in the Sweet 16 doesn't happen very often. But little did we know, the Mobley brothers can play basketball over there at USC. Like those kids were stroking it all over the court, and they looked good. USC beat the brakes off of Kansas. I've never seen somebody beat Kansas so bad.
Yeah, they really did. I have to go with USC on that one. I think it's been a really good game, but I have to go with USC. They got some pretty decent talent, so I'm going with USC in a close one. That
I'm
way
gonna
they'll.
go with Oregon just because they're fresh. They got that VCU, which I hated that for VCU. That had to be so terrible. Like that would suck so bad to not get to play. So
Oh
they're
yeah,
fresh. I'm going with them. And the only reason I'm going with them, they're top 15 in the nation in threes. They make a ton of threes. And I think if we learn something over the weekend, if you can score points, you can win. But if you don't score points,
okay. Well, so we're going to the East bracket. We have Michigan, Florida State. This was the only matchup that I picked correctly
I think
out of
that
the
was
whole. So,
And I was bullish on Michigan, and I don't have them going much further than this, but by the way they look, I think they get around Florida State pretty easily just because they looked really good last game.
okay.
And they're number 8 and threes. I mean, it's a common theme among these teams. They all shoot the three ball well.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, to the three ball, I think Florida State did not hit one single three-pointer in the opening round.
They're top 15 in threes. Michigan's number 8 in threes. Florida State's 15 in threes. Who are we just talking about? Oregon was top 15. Like, all these teams shoot the three ball well.
And I think you have to be able to shoot the ball well if you want to get anywhere. You know, that's been my knock on West Virginia for the longest time, especially maybe this year. I thought this year they actually
McNeil left it out on the court. He was stroking it from NBA range. McNeil looked pretty. You know, he was making his shots this week. I mean, he came to play. It just didn't work out for us, obviously. But I like to see him out there making shots because I think we get him back next year. I think he's a 20-point a night kind of guy.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the West Virginia game after we pick all these. I definitely want to touch base on that.
For sure.
I think Michigan beats Florida State this week.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, but yeah, they win. They win here. Just other than Florida State plays great defense, which last time I was here, I was rambling on about great defense, but
yeah,
even the greatest of defenses sometimes can't match up with the greatest of offenses. Sometimes the good offense beats good defense.
I cannot disagree. But I think that with the way Florida State didn't shoot the ball very well in game one, especially no three-point shots made, you know, they ended up taking care of business against Colorado, but I think it ends, and I think Michigan moves on that one.
I couldn't agree more.
Staying in the East, we have 11 seed UCLA and 2 seed Alabama.
I'm liking this UCLA team a lot. They showed a lot of compassion, dude. They played 3 games. They played, you know, they had They had to play a play-in game. They played a first-round game, and you know now here they are in the Sweet 16 against Alabama, which a lot of people were dubbing, you know, the 5th number 1 seed or whatever, you know, as the top number two line, or the top of the 2 line. But man, this is one of those matchups that I think if you want to get risky with a bet, this is a game I'm picking. UCLA move on to the Elite Eight because they have 7 former ESPN 100s. They're a deep team. They showed a lot of heart, man. Like I said, they started as a play-in game. I mean, they were a bubble team. Here they are, Sweet 16.
Yeah, but
Alabama's really good. Don't get me wrong. I could see them going to the Final Four for that matter. But
I did. You know, this is the first team that I was not very high on last week. I think I said that Alabama would. You know, I had Alabama, I think, going this far anyway.
I did too.
I had them going this far. You know, I'm torn on who to pick. You know, do I want to continue the trend of the upsets, which has been going on? You know,
might work out for you, man.
You know, but I think
another thing I might throw in here. You got to understand. All right, so they played on Monday, right? Sunday and Monday. And they're staying in their motel rooms, you know, in quarantine, a little bit of practice until Saturday. So there's going to be a mental aspect to this. They're going on week 2.5 of being there and not at school, not around family, not around friends. So, I mean, there's going to be a mental aspect to this thing. And I think that might be why we've seen so many upsets maybe, you know.
I mean, I would definitely – because I was actually about to ask you that about Virginia because Virginia didn't get to practice the entire time.
They didn't practice once. They literally showed up and played a game.
You know, so I think that kind of had a little bit to do with it. You know, they hadn't played since, you know, probably about a week or so by then. Yeah. You know, so I think that had a little bit to do with it, but I don't think it was all of it. I think Ohio earned that victory. You know, so
Ohio's good, and I was telling you that what was that point guard? What was their point guard's name? He passes. They're comparing him to LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right off, but Preston something. But anyways, man, he was spectacular. He was good.
Yeah,
for Ohio.
Oh yeah, I think that, you know, I think that had a little bit to do with it, but yeah, Ohio earned that. That dude can shoot. I think
They did. They did.
Yeah, I think that he'll. I think is it? Yeah, Jason Preston is his name.
Jason Preston, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
He's a stud. I could see him. I can see them making noise. Like next year, like if he's, I don't know what his classman is, but that kid's good.
I think he's. I have to look. I think he might be graduating.
Did you hear his story though? He had a great story. I think he had a great story. It was awesome, from living on his own to going up to Ohio on this scholarship, not even knowing anybody or knowing anything. It was a great read.
Let me see here. I think he's done, actually. I really do.
Yeah. I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but do you think many players are going to use that extra year of eligibility and stay that are seen, like Taz Sherman? Like, I know Taz wants to go overseas and make money, but he has an opportunity to come back to a West Virginia team with that free year of eligibility and turn into a legit NBA prospect.
I think he should.
I think he should. He's not. I think he already announced that he's not.
That's been the problem with West Virginia players. Go back to like Sags, you go back to all of them. They don't stay. And I think if Sags would have stayed, he should have stayed. I think he would have been a pretty decent NBA player. But I think he would,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these players, they need the money, this and that, and that's fine. It's their decision at the end of the day. But West Virginia is notorious, it seems like, to have players that leave.
And they are. I can't disagree with that. Like, even like Devin Ebanks went his sophomore year, which I'm not really going to knock him. He actually got drafted for early second round. Like, it wasn't like the worst decision he ever made, because he could have had a bad year, not got drafted, so on and so forth. There's both sides to that.
Yeah, we'll so going to the South region, I definitely wanted to touch base back on that too as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm picking UCLA with this matchup. I mean, I could see Alabama going far, but this is one of the matchups. This is an upset alert for sure.
I'm going with my gut's telling me Alabama, so I'm going to go with that.
I got another upset alert coming here in a minute too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I might know which one it is, maybe, but let's go to the South. 1 seed Baylor and 5 seed Villanova.
Baylor looked good, there. Scott Drew. Scott Drew reminds me a lot of Gonzaga's head coach and Mark Few. It's when he needs a national championship there. He gets a national championship there. It puts him in a group with in the elites,
Definitely.
It bumps them up a margin. That's all they're missing. They got their recruits. They got the wins. They got the conference championships. The only thing they're missing, they've got the 1 seeds in the tournament before. They just need a championship. Them and Gonzaga both. There.
I mean, I think if anyone, what Mark Few has been able to do at Gonzaga, disregarding conferences, I understand that Gonzaga, and that was been my knock on Gonzaga for the longest time, was they don't play nobody. Now, I learned that once they played West Virginia, a couple years ago. I was like, can't really say that anymore. So
that was terrible.
Yeah, I'm in this one. I'm going upset with Villanova. I think that
decent another common theme here: top 15 field goal shooting team. So
Yeah, if this was any other year, I would probably take Baylor. But if it's one thing that I learned the last few days was, this is March, and you cannot. I have to go with Villanova. It's gonna be a really good game though. But I got Villanova.
There's another 1 seed going down in the Sweet 16. I think we could lose 2 1 seeds.
Possibly, yes.
This week and then the 16 and the Elite 8. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, but it could get wild. March it's proven to be.
That's very, very true. Now, this team, I don't think anyone had this team this far, was Oral Roberts against Arkansas.
Arkansas looked good, though.
Yeah.
They looked Very good.
I would have to go with
And they're
on this one. Yeah, definitely. It sucks to pick against a team like Oral Roberts because that's what you love about this tournament. You love the smaller schools getting that shot against the big guys.
Man, these small schools, they've looked good this year. They've looked better this year than I've seen in a long while.
And I think too, with the extra year of eligibility, I think that's really helping these smaller schools out.
Wait till next year.
Oh yeah, and maybe that would contribute to some of the upsets that are happening this year. Maybe it's I have no idea. I really don't. But some of these small schools, they rely on these seniors. They really have to build these guys up. So I think that might have a little bit to do with it. But I think they're a pretty decent team. They can shoot the ball pretty well. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. They're the number three three-point shooting team in the nation. So I mean, number 13 in total offense, number 2 in free throws. I mean, they're statistically good. And that Max Ambas, I mean, he averages 25 points a game. That's not by mistake.
Well, I go in Arkansas in this one. I think it ends. Cinderella's done. I'm going Arkansas. We'll play Villanova in the Elite Eight.
And that's Arkansas. That's such a common theme. Number 7 scoring offense. They score a lot of points. They shoot the three good. They shoot free throws good. These are all offensive dominant teams, most of them, except for like Loyola. And geez, did you see that? No, we're getting off. Did you see that Abilene Christian? That school was crazy. Their defense was amazing.
I just have to say about these. Have you seen this many upsets in your lifetime watching this?
No, that's what I'm saying. And there was 4 other games that could have went.
Yeah.
More upsets.
I think LSU had Michigan on the ropes.
They did. LSU just about won.
Yeah, and that would have definitely.
At the end, Michigan came back.
Yeah, so.
I'm going to Oral Roberts though, just because I just want to. They're offensively, they're dangerous, and I think if they catch Arkansas sleeping, because everybody's been saying Arkansas is going to the Final Four, they have a clear path, so on and so forth. I mean, if they just off their game a little bit, Oral Roberts gets them.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely hope Arkansas goes into this knowing they cannot sleep on this team.
They can't sleep because they have a good path to the Elite Eight and not a bad shot at the Final Four.
No, they really don't. So I'm going Arkansas on this one. It's really tough, but I got to go with Arkansas on that one. Now this matchup right here,
it's awesome.
With the Midwest region, which I think the total seeds, if you add them up, is 33. I've never seen at a Sweet 16 this far into it. If you add up the total amount of seeds, each team.
It was a record.
I'd have to look that up. I'm definitely want to find that out. But
no, it was. I've seen it.
Oh, it was.
It was the highest. The record was 5-2 or 5-5, and this one was 5-9 or 6-0. It beat it handedly.
Well,
it wasn't even close.
I mean, who would have thought? Now, I think Loyola. I think a lot of people are saying they were underseeded.
They were underseeded. I'll say that they were.
Now this is an 8-12 matchup against Oregon State, and before we pick, I have to say I was wrong on Oregon State. I said that the run will be over. You go back to Beaverton. Hey, enjoy baseball season, whatever, or something of that nature.
Yeah, you said something real similar to that.
Yeah, something around that. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I'm going with Chicago on this one. I think it's a better team. I think Oregon State's magic.
They are a good team. They surprised a lot of people. And I was saying it too last week. The analytics on this Loyola team are better than the one that went to the Final Four a few years ago. And I love analytics. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And because it tells a lot about a team. You see, look at all these teams.
Oh, definitely. That's gonna be a really good game. Though. I really, really want to watch that one.
And that Cameron Krutwig kid is smooth. The big kid, he played good down there in the lane. I mean, he pieced Illinois apart.
Oh, I was really shocked on that. on that game.
Beat them bad. And I heard a rumor that they've been trying to schedule Illinois for like 10 years, and Illinois won't schedule them.
Oh, wow.
And now they just beat them, so like they'll never schedule them now.
No, they won't. Man, imagine being an Illinois fan. Like that's like little brother. That's like a little brother.
That'd be like Marshall beating WVU in like the Sweet 16 or something. Like it would be terrible.
Oh.
It would suck.
Yeah, I got Chicago in that one myself. So
I'm gonna have to go Chicago too, even though Oregon State can win this. The Pac-12 they surprised everybody. I mean, these guys are hot. They burnt through the Pac-12 conference tournament, won the championship game to even get in this. Like,
oh yeah, that's what it's really hard to pick against those type of teams.
No, I almost want to pick them, but I'm already down pretty bad. I mean, I'm never ever betting against Sister Jean ever again.
Unless it's like
ever again. I bet against them in the first round, bet against them in the second round. Here they are. They're still here.
Well, here's the thing. They have a really good shot of making the Final Four.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
they got to beat a Houston or a Syracuse or Oregon State. All these teams have a good shot at getting to the Final Four.
Oh, I was just noticing that because, I mean, so to the Syracuse-Houston, the other game in the bracket, who do you have in that?
Did you know Jim Boeheim had a son? His name's Buddy, and he can fucking shoot.
I really thought that was his grandson. I really did.
No, that's his son. And I don't know where they've been hiding that kid at. Like, where's he been all season? I mean, I know he averages 17 a game, but why did he decide to go off against WVU in the tournament? Like,
I actually was looking him up on Wikipedia today. I meant to send you this. I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of it's really funny actually. Where is it at here? Oh, come here. Okay. So if you pull up his Wikipedia page right now, I mean this is probably about an hour ago. It says born November 11th, 1999, is the American college basketball player for Syracuse Orange with the ACC. He is the son of Hall of Fame basketball coach Jim Boeheim, current owner of the Midwest region, West Virginia, and San Diego State.
He did. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
For that. They kill Wikipedia. I mean, he owned this. I mean, he went off. And even the commentators were saying, like, this kid is just gotten so much better. Everybody said he wasn't, I mean, he's had elite coaching his whole life, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I seriously, I really thought that was his grandson. I really did.
That was ridiculous, man. I was so upset. I was heartbroken.
So do you have, I got Syracuse.
I'm going Syracuse.
Yeah. Syracuse is hot right now.
Syracuse, dude, and they shot it better than they should have.
Yeah.
They execute that 2-3 zone. It's ate up two teams in the tournament so far. It killed San Diego State. It killed us. And unless Kelvin Sampson, they have all week to prepare for it. Houston does, and Kelvin Sampson's a good basketball coach, so they might present a good shot at beating them. But
yeah, I mean, but that also goes to the limited practices that these teams.
Oh, for the record, though, I hope Houston beats them by 40.
Oh, I mean, honestly,
payback. And then Loyola is going to beat Houston in the Elite Eight and go to the Final Four again, so it doesn't matter.
Man, okay, so we'll go ahead and go to there because I would have Syracuse beating Loyola in the Elite Eight.
I could see that, and that doesn't surprise me because they have way more length than Loyola, and they have a lot more depth as well.
Definitely. That's the Midwest region is completely
it's fun. I'm excited for it actually this weekend to see who comes out of the Midwest. Imagine having a 12 seed Oregon State in the Final Four.
I mean, I would not put it past it. No. I really would. I would not be shocked if that happened. This is March. I think out of the Midwest region, I only had one team picked right, and that was it. That was Houston. Terrible. Yeah, and man, That was bad.
It was a bad region.
So would you have, since we both have, what you picked Syracuse or did you pick Houston on that to play?
Now I picked Syracuse to win this one.
Okay, so who would you in the Elite Eight matchup for that? We'll go ahead and go up the bracket now. Would you have?
Today we got Loyola and Syracuse, and I think Loyola goes to the Final Four out of the Midwest bracket.
Okay. Yeah,
just because they're probably like top 3 trending on Twitter. Like you got everybody pulling for Loyola, and like I said, it turns into a mental game after this week. Imagine the Final Four teams, another week in the bubble.
Man, it is. Man, whoever wins it this year, they earned it. And that's the beautiful thing about college basketball is you can have a school like this make it all the way to the championship game and win it even. Football, you can't.
No, it's the same 4 teams in the same 4-team playoff every single year. I look for him to change it one day.
Hopefully. All right, we'll move up to the South region. I have Arkansas playing Villanova in that matchup. If that's the case,
I have Baylor and Oral Roberts, and as bad as I want the Oral Roberts to keep rolling. The magic dust ends in the Elite Eight. Right. Baylor goes to the Final Four because I'm still picking Baylor to go to the championship game. I don't know if they'll get around Gonzaga or not, but Baylor rolls through this region. I do think so.
Well, I had Villanova beating Baylor this weekend. And I would have to say between Arkansas and Villanova, because we have 2 separate teams that we're picking here, I would have to say that Villanova.
That's a good bracket. I mean, they've been here before. They know.
Yeah.
They understand what's at stake.
All right, going to the East.
But can you imagine a Oral Roberts 15 seed in the Final Four? That'd have to be a first ever.
I think so. Let me see. What is the farthest a 15 seed?
I have no clue. I know they've had some upsets, though, because especially in recent years.
Let's see. Okay, the farthest 15 seed has ever gone in the tournament was Florida Gulf Coast in 2013 when the Eagles advanced to the Sweet 16.
Okay, here they are, making history.
Yep. So we'll see if Oral Roberts can be the very first 15 seed to make it to the Elite Eight.
I hope they are. I'm picking them. I'm pulling for Oral Roberts hard. And they score the ball, like, just, not quite as good as Gonzaga, but they can score the basketball.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them play. I really am.
I watched them. I didn't watch much of the first game as much as I did the second game, but I mean Florida beat WVU. They play in the SEC. It's a good win.
Yeah, I want Oral Roberts to win. I really do, but I don't think they will. That one between Arkansas and Villanova, I got Villanova going in that one. Now to the East bracket. I had, of course, you have UCLA, Alabama. I have on that one playing Michigan. UCLA, Michigan. Man, that's a good. I got Michigan moving on that one.
Who did I pick here?
I think you picked I know you had Michigan. I think you picked UCLA.
I think I did too. I don't. This is like this one and the Syracuse game. I think it is two games that you could really pick, and the higher seeds could win.
Definitely.
Easily.
Yeah, I got Michigan moving on to the Final Four on that one.
Other than, I have to give Alabama credit. They're a really good basketball team, and they could march to the Final Four, and no one's going to be surprised at all.
Yeah, definitely. That was another.
They just don't have a lot of high-level wins.
No.
They played a lot of high-level games. They just didn't win. They just didn't win them.
Yeah, I think that was also the product of the SEC this past year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kentucky not being what Kentucky usually is. Florida being kind of a little iffy there. They were ranked for a little bit.
They were up and down.
Yeah, outside of Arkansas and Alabama,
That's all they had.
and maybe LSU. I don't know if LSU was ranked throughout the year, if not at all. So yeah, there wasn't much. Tennessee is another one.
Yeah, but they were another roller coaster ride, like top
Yeah.
5 to not ranked in like 3 weeks. Like,
yeah. But to the west, this I have USC, and Gonzaga in the East.
I picked Oregon to beat Gonzaga. I think Oregon could get USC in foul trouble here. They're long. Get a lot of hands touching, a lot of hands moving, a lot of hands touching, and I think if Oregon's smart, but they've already played them, and that goes into things as well.
Let me see what their see when they last played.
I'm still going with Oregon though, because they were here a few years ago with Lonzo Ball, and some of these kids are still on the team.
Yeah, I'm seeing here when they last played, and I think that's another reason why I, maybe myself included, was not very high on the Pac-12. You don't really get to see a lot of their games a lot of the time.
No, we don't. You'd have to stay up late. It's all at night, like late at night.
Yeah, so, but I just didn't think at the time, a week ago, that they really had anyone that they – I mean, the Pac-12 all year hardly had any ranked teams, hardly.
No, they weren't even that – they didn't have any high-level wins, and when they did get matched up against high-level teams, they didn't win. It's just – but it's a different brand of basketball.
Let's see.
It's fun. I like to watch them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with USC over.
They were good,
but I got Gonzaga beating USC in the.
And USC's another one. They got like 4 top 25 McDonald's All-Americans on that team. I mean, just talent spewing everywhere.
Yeah, and USC is not really. You were talking about USC, right?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
USC has 4 and Oregon has 5. Well, the USC are all 5-star All-Americans. They have 3 5-star All-Americans, and Oregon has 6 ESPN Top 100. So, I mean, recruiting.
Yeah, definitely. I think USC, I think we said this last week, they have was the number 2 overall prospect in the NBA draft this year?
Yeah, the Mobley kid.
Yeah, so he
has a brother that's good too.
See, you never think of USC. You never think of USC though as like getting that type of talent. I mean, OJ Mayo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they got OJ Mayo. They got do you remember DeMar DeRozan? They got DeMar DeRozan back in the day, and now they got this Mobley guy. But it's right in downtown Los Angeles. I mean, it's
it's nice weather.
Cool setup for the right people.
Definitely. So if this is how I have the Final Four stacking up. I have Gonzaga. I have Michigan, Villanova, Syracuse. That's how it will be in a week.
I think I have UCLA, Loyola, Baylor, and Gonzaga. So 2 1 seeds and an 11 seed and an 8 seed.
Ooh, so you do have Loyola. Man, either way, however this shapes up, I would like to see. I'm
not giving Houston enough respect either, but
no, I'm not. But man, Syracuse is playing hot right now. It's hard.
They're hot.
Yeah, I honestly, I would not be surprised if they steamroll through Houston.
It's possible.
I would not be a bit shocked, But either way,
they beat the brakes out of both teams last week. It was
it's gonna be really, really interesting to see what happens with all that. Now, since we got all the picks and everything like that, we're also, we'll come back next week as well for the Final Four, and that will be for the championship game and everything like that. And also, before, I do want to talk about WVU basketball with you. So
let's do it. Jordan McCabe's transferring. We can start it with that.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I kind of knew it was coming because he doesn't get to play that much with this team, and there's guards behind him. Like Keedy and we're bringing in a kid from high school, and uh, his playing time's just going down and down and down. And
Oh yeah. Well,
so
when he was
it
recruited,
doesn't
though,
surprise me, but he is a true Mountaineer fan. Like he's never once got mad about his playing time. You got to forget, Jordan McCabe was like one of the higher recruited players. He was like a
yeah,
4-star.
I was actually
And
about to say that too. Yeah, he came in. You know, I really thought that he would be a lot better, but I think he's a great team player. You know, I will always root for him wherever he goes. You know, because of that. You know, but I was kind of disappointed in him. You know, I thought he would really be better than what he was recruited wise. But I mean, he's a hell of a teammate. You know, you can't hate him for wanting to leave to go somewhere else to see what they can do and everything like that. So
no, you can't. You got to respect it. He's graduating from WVU here in May. He's in the portal, and obviously he can always pull out of the portal and come back depending on how things shake up. Because Sean Manil entered his name into the NBA draft, but I mean he's gonna go get professional advice for free. So
yeah,
I
he'll be
don't blame
back.
him. He'll be
Yeah,
back. He's not going
yeah.
anywhere. But
Hopefully,
what people don't understand is he has a sniper mentality. Like
yeah.
people that can set up and make threes, you're gonna you're gonna get paid to play basketball.
Well, let's see. Looking at the roster, of course, everyone does get that extra year of eligibility.
Yeah, and I
So,
think you can mark Taz off that list, and I would kind of be shocked if Gabe. I think both of our seniors are gone. I don't think.
yeah,
I thought if anything, we got Taz back for an extra year so he could try to get drafted, become an NBA prospect. But obviously, he wants to go overseas and
yeah,
money and start his professional career.
yeah. I mean, do you think, in all honesty, like not being a fan, step that aside? Do you honestly ever see West Virginia win it all? Be realistic.
No, maybe no. Just because not as a member of the Big 12. Maybe maybe years down the line when they do like conference realignment and there's only like 4 conferences.
Yeah,
I think things will change, and I think it'll kind of even the grounds on recruiting too. Um, but in the given landscape of recruiting and facilities and all that things, no, I don't think we get a national championship unless Bob Huggins brings in more 5 stars, more 4 and 5 stars.
wow. So you don't think it will ever, with Huggins at least?
Man, I want to say yes, but part of me says no, just because he's hard nosed and it's hard.
Yeah, I mean,
But the Brakeman kid that went to Huntington Prep, he was like 5 star, like number fifth rated high schooler last year. He went to Duke, but he's transferring. So, and he's high school teammates with the kid on our team that blew his Achilles.
oh, who was that did? I had it pulled up here actually.
Isaiah Cottrell. He's teammates with
Yeah,
Isaiah
yeah,
Cottrell. They went to Huntington Prep. So
yep.
if Hugs brings in a 5 star, my answer might change. But given the quality of recruits we get, but once Hugs coaches them up, they're great players. But I
Yeah,
don't see it getting done unless we start getting higher quality players from the beginning.
and I don't think that will happen
No.
as much because of how Huggins does the way he does coach.
The way he handles business.
Yeah, I mean he's not a Coach K. You know, he's not a Color Perry. You know, anything like that. You know, he's very strict. I guess you could say other coaches. I think they're strict, but you know, in order for a 5-star to come, they're like, man, Hugs. You know, it takes a special player to play for Bob Huggins.
It takes a certain personality.
Yeah, it does. You know, so you know,
it's important. And in the NBA, defense is not important. Like they're all offense. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't see it unless you got to have some luck. You got to have the right draw. And I thought really this year
This year was
their,
our straw.
this year was that draw. You didn't, because, in years past, you've always been stuck with a Duke. You've been stuck with the Kentucky team, was probably one of the best teams ever.
Kansas.
Not even really Kansas, but, it's always you get that draw, or Gonzaga a couple years ago, Villanova. You know what I'm saying? So,
You always get that tough draw. Like, look at the teams in our bracket. It's Loyola, Syracuse, Houston, and who else?
It was Loyola, Oregon State, Syracuse, and Houston. West Virginia could easily have, congrats. Yeah, congrats to Syracuse because they earned it. But, West Virginia had it. You know what I'm saying? They could easily be looking at a Final Four right now. Easily.
Good.
Of course, you still got to play the game.
Hugs is sick.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't, they had it. This is their year, their draw. I feel like they had the shooting there a little bit, just didn't get it done.
Keep the band together. I think we can be back right here next year with a better seed. I think we could be a 22-win team next year, 23-win team. I think we could be on that 2 line, possibly borderline. I don't want to say we're going to be a 1 seed next year, but I think if we return the guys and get good production out of the new guys that we're bringing in, I think we'll be highly. We'll get a high seed again next year, and another good opportunity to get to at least this point, the Sweet 16. But like you said, he's going to be waiting on us.
Yeah, I think this team next year, if everyone does come back, even without Taz, I still think they're a 25-plus win seed team. I really do. Man, I was shocked, honestly, myself, once, Oscar Tshiebwe left. I thought the team would kind of start going down a little bit. But they really got better. They really, really got better.
Well, it showed how good we can shoot. Hugs have been saying it, though. Like, oh, these guys can shoot. These guys can shoot. This is the best shooting team I've had in a long, long time. And it took us a long time to see it, but I believe him now.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to next year. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Of course, you got the summer, you got workouts and everything. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. But
I think it'll go good. One thing, he'll keep them motivated. They should be motivated.
Oh, yeah.
We have a bad taste. Oklahoma State beat us twice, and then we win one game against Morehead State, and then we get ran out of the gym by Syracuse. They should be really hungry for summer workouts.
Oh yeah, if you're not motivated after that, then you have no business playing. But
right.
The only thing that really kind of disgusted me about the whole loss was, some of the fans, they went out. I think they tweeted some stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. They're talking about telling the players to kill themselves and all that crazy stuff. I've seen that.
Yeah, I know every fan base does it, but I don't see the point in that. But other than that, I think
Ohio State had a problem with it, and I've seen a couple teams have problems with it this year. I don't know if it's just.
I think Illinois had a player. I think had one.
Cockburn. Yeah, I've seen that.
So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this weekend's games.
I am too. They're gonna all be great games.
Yeah, and we'll come back on next week and everything like that. We'll look at the Final Four championship games, see where we got right, see where we got wrong. Probably a lot of wrongs.
Yeah, a lot of wrongs.
If there's any thing what this past weekend has done and everything like that, but I'm really looking forward to it. But what's your game of the weekend out of the Sweet 16 before we go?
Probably the most game I want to see. I'm real interested in the Loyola Oregon State game, just because it's just an intriguing matchup. But as far as watching a basketball game, the Oregon USC game is going to be competitive. It's going to be chippy. There'll probably be some technicals involved, and I think that will be a game.
Okay. For me, I think the game that I'm really looking forward to, I think the Michigan-Florida State game will be really good.
It will, but I'm talking fireworks. Those are my two favorites.
But the game I'm really, really wanting to see, and would probably be Loyola Oregon State. I want to see how Oregon State responds. With okay, you're in the Sweet 16 now. Is it going to continue? Everything like
And
that.
if I'm Oregon State's coach, I'm telling my players, we're better than them.
Yeah.
In everything.
Definitely.
Athletically, it doesn't matter. I would, you know what I mean? I'll be telling them whatever they needed to be told to get them to do that.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll see. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to coming back on next week as well. Finish up the going into the Final Four championship game, and we'll even come back on after the championship game. Go over a couple of other things and everything. But
sounds great.
Yeah, man.
It's been awesome. It's been fun.
Yeah, man. Stay on real quick once we get done here, and we'll finish up and everything like that. But yeah, I want to thank you for coming back on, man.
All right. Thank you. See you next time.
All right, man.